My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey guys, welcome back. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever thought about investing in hotels? I know this is kind of becoming more of a popular topic. Some folks are switching out of multifamily and getting into boutique hotels or standard hotels. Well, today's special guest, Mike Stohler, is doing exactly that. He switched from multifamily buildings, apartment buildings, syndications around multifamily back in 2016. The cap rates weren't so great anymore. And he's made the switch over into the hotel business. And we're going to take a deep dive into that. So zooming in from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, and rubbing my nose in the fact that he went golfing yesterday while I'm freezing my buns off here in beautiful British Columbia, Mike Stohler. Mike, welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. So give us a little snapshot of what the portfolio looks like. What kind of hotels do you have? How many of them? That sort
Mhm.
of thing. And then we'll dive into why.
Yeah. So, got out of the multifamily, got into hotels, and here in the United States, what we do is it's just like with multifamily. What kind, where, some do better in others, whether it's Class A, B. It's the same thing with hotels, and we have Quality Inns, Comfort Inns, Wyndhams, Radisson. Um, we're getting ready to build a high-end Hilton. And so it's all over the place. And so, a lot of people say, what franchise do you concentrate on? It all depends on the location. So we have over 25 years with myself and my partner in investment real estate, and
Mhm.
my partner Vic has 30 years in just hospitality. So we're
Right.
a couple
Very,
thousand
very
keys.
couple of thousand keys. All right. Very good. So how many different properties at this moment across the states?
We have 5 properties right now.
Uh-huh.
We have one under seller financing. That's still an option, ladies and
Still a
gentlemen,
thing.
and
Yeah.
it's still a thing. But
Even in hotel business. Okay.
even in the hotel business, and we just got $1 million in escrow that went hard on day one, even if they back out, and that's some of the things we do for our investors.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the business case for hotels versus multifamily apartment buildings, because that's what you were
Mhm.
doing before.
It is for all of you that are landlords. Um, you ever get sick and tired of people? You know,
Well, it sounds like having a hotel would multiply that factor, my friend.
Well, I like the fact that I get my money up front. One of the biggest, I'm joking around, but it's kind of nice to have a credit card up front.
Yeah.
They stay for a couple days and then they leave.
And if they
Um,
screw anything up, you still got that credit card and
I
you can
still have that
whack them for
credit
damage.
card, and I'm not chasing around and having excuses and all that that I had with multifamily. The other thing that I do, if you look at a 100-unit apartment complex, a 100-key hotel, the hotel will always gross a lot more. Um, the reason being is I'm not stuck with a 6-month lease or 12-month lease. I can change my rent as many times a day as I want. It could be $100 a night, but then there's a concert coming in. It's $200 a night here in Scottsdale. You have the Barrett Jackson, and our rates were two and a quarter. In the summer, it goes down maybe 75. But I'm getting rents every day per those rooms instead of once a month. And that's another big thing. And I also have, um, like with the Hiltons and the Wyndhams, I have over 100 million potential customers with the rewards programs.
Hmm. Yeah, you're plugged into a pre-existing business model, so to speak. So
Mhm.
what yeah, I see a lot of appeal to that. Just being playing the devil's advocate here, what's coming to mind for me, Mike, is okay, yeah, I don't have to deal with month to month tenants and the headaches that come with that. Now I got to deal with a gazillion. If I've got a 100 unit hotel, now I've got potentially 100 guests to deal with. I've got front desk staff. I've got cleaning staff. I've got all of this overhead that's revolved around that. I've got a real business now
You do.
versus more of the passive side of quote unquote passive side of things with multifamily. So what do you say to folks that are concerned about that side of things?
Mhm. And that's a valid concern, Dave. Hotels are not real estate. It is a business. It's a small business. You're owning a franchise unless you have an independent one. And we have upwards from, 12 to even 30, depending on the size of the hotel, employees. What's extremely important is, let's say I have a Hilton or a Wyndham or a Marriott. Every single one of those employees goes through their educational type system. So they
Mm,
learn the Hilton way or the choice way. And then the most important thing that I do is you have to hire the right GM, the general manager that
yeah.
runs that business. And if they have, a decade of experience, then it becomes a lot easier. Depending on the size, you have a head housekeeper. You may have one or two guys that all they do is maintenance. Um, and then depending on where it is, we have a property management group that then handles all of that. Um, for ones that aren't close, I have this really good property management group that combined, they have, I don't know, 50 years experience in doing hospitality management. So it is now passive for me. Because I've built up a team, and ladies and gentlemen, whether it's multifamily, individual homes, once you get a portfolio of anything, you need a team. That
Mm,
is the most important thing that I've learned. So it's not that hard for me. I still make the big decisions. If you spend X amount of dollars or more, you have to go through me. But then I do a once a month phone calls or Zoom calls with each general manager and whoever's operating it.
very good. So Mike, yeah, the team is key, that's for sure. It is employee heavy, but if you got a good employee at the top of each property, then you really don't have to worry about the rest of it because that's part of their job, right? So
Hmm.
I can see the benefit there. Um, how does the let's just apples to apples. Let's say 100 keys for a hotel versus 100 unit multifamily, same market. What are
Hmm.
you looking at the end of the day when the smoke clears? The kind of return on investment comparison for you, for your limited, for your syndication partners, LPs, whatever it is. How does that kind of compare?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let's say it's a mid-market hotel, um, which would be maybe a B minus C hotel or, a multifamily. We're
Mm,
talking about a quality inn that's kind of in the suburbs or something like that.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to my return is about my NOI is about 40% on the hotels. So I have about 60% expenses. And then when you look at and that's a beta. So if you look at what you're getting after debt services, then it just depends on what you pay for that hotel.
Mhm.
Um, and again, it's whether it's a Best Western or Marriott, the Marriott is the Rolls Royce, the Hiltons are the Rolls Royces, so you're going to pay more for the same amount of keys depending on what franchise it is.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of it is because you have just a lot of vendors, but the the play that I like is that nobody, and with the hotels, you would probably net a little bit more towards the beginning, but the cap rates, you're actually probably buying that multifamily for more than I did that hotel, because of the cap rates, because everybody and their brother or sister wants multifamily. That is most people's end game
Yeah.
in real estate. They start out with fix and flips, Airbnbs, then they want multifamily, then they want bigger multifamily. I don't have a lot of competition with the hotels, especially the mid-market ones. I mean, my goodness, about 100 key Quality Inn that does 2.3 million a year gross. I bought it for $5 million.
Wow.
Um, because they just stay on the market a little bit longer, and you have to see things like us, I can switch the franchise. I
I
can,
was going to ask you that, Mike. What is the end play typically for you on these kind of properties? Is it value
mhm,
add? Is it
mhm.
just hold on to it forever and never sell it? What's the
Yeah.
play?
Yeah. So a great question. Now, because it is a business, I can't put lipstick on it and flip it most of the time. It takes a while.
I've seen a few that could use some serious lipstick, but
They can, and those are maybe I just want to convert those into apartments, instead of dealing with it.
yeah,
Um, but the play is usually all of my holds are 5 to 7 years because it just takes time to get that business back going. The reviews, people pay more attention to reviews on hotels than they may multifamily.
yeah, for sure.
Um, if I switch franchises, then the world has to know that there is now a Hilton there instead of a Best Western there. That might
Mm.
take a year for that reservation system to go through. So it's a longer play. Um, Unless, like the ones we're doing in Spain, where it's more of a lifestyle. You have different types of hotels. You have the box hotels, and most of the people will say, "Hey, 5 to 7 years. Here's my preferred return. Here's my dividends. Here's my cut." Then we sell, and there's no emotional bond on regular hotels. Something that is a lifestyle or maybe a boutique in a very like Sedona, Arizona, something that is just really, really neat, or the ones we're doing in Spain. People say, I don't ever want to sell those. I want to go to it and tell
Mm.
people that, hey, look at this cool place that I own. So it's more of a lifestyle. And then you have different exit strategies. Maybe 5 to 7 years, you take out those people that want to be taken out, and then uh, keep it for a decade or more. 15 years. Why not? When it's already 1,000 years old, the place. So why not own it for 20 years?
No, that makes a lot of sense. So, Mike, some people might be saying, "Hey, it sounds kind of appealing, this whole hotel idea." If somebody's maybe got some experience in multifamily but zero
Yeah.
experience in hotels, and you don't have to happen to have a partner who's got 30 years of experience in it, how would you kind of recommend somebody dip their toe in and
Yeah.
feel it out a little bit?
Don't buy a hotel on your own.
No,
It's
good advice.
um, well, here's the thing. It's like how do you, it's not like multifamily. It's a business. The second thing is a franchise isn't going to give anybody naming rights to a hotel because they have their reputation.
Hmm.
So you have to have some type of experience. So the best thing to do is either partner with someone as a JV or through a syndication. Do what I did is, I had the money but zero experience. So I found somebody, and what I did is I said, "Hey Vic, you go find the hotels. You're going to teach me how to find them. You're going to actually operate it for me. Teach me everything you know about operating. But instead of giving you money, I'm going to give you a piece on the back end." So now he has an incentive to make me money. Okay. So, and we ended up doing a JV agreement on that very first one. Um, and that was the beginning of because he had to get on my paperwork, even though I was putting out 100% of the money.
Yeah,
The
they wanted to
banks
look
are,
at Vic's track record because he's the guy who knew what the hell he was doing.
yeah,
You're the money guy in that deal,
yeah.
as far as the franchisor
As
was
far as
concerned.
that franchise went, he had to be on it. And,
Yeah,
and even on the bank, it's like, yeah, Mike, I know you have the money, but you don't have any experience. So,
yeah.
but this guy does. And that was only for that first deal. And now I don't need that because I have the
Well,
experience.
it's not really that much unlike a multifamily syndication where you might need a key sponsor to sign off on
Mhm.
things who may or may not actually put up any cash, but they're big part of the deal, and the banks like to have those guys on there, so they've got that experience, right? So,
Hmm.
similar idea. All right. So knowing what you know now, Mike, going back to 2016 when you're first starting to take a look at this, what, if anything, would you do differently?
I'd have bought more.
Of course. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, I mean, all of us could have, should have. Um, some of the things that you just really, really learn as you dive into it, um, getting to know the franchises a little bit more. You don't realize it's like, hey, I'm going to go with X franchise or X franchise. And then you get in and you find out that that franchise really doesn't care about anything
Yeah. Hmm.
but taking money from the owners.
Right.
You know,
Because you got to be paying some sort of a,
well, it's a
percentage, right,
oh,
to these guys
fees
or
and
fees.
fees.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you have to buy this cleaning fluid because that
Uh,
franchise gets a cut from that manufacturer. They're always, and not all of them are like that, but I've learned that, man, um, some of them are just really hard. So, I would have uh, not taken some franchises, or I would have switched some franchises. Um, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with this one franchise. It's not really known in the United States, but it's up and coming. Um, and that was a mistake,
hmm.
because it's all about rewards members. I don't want a company that has 100,000 rewards members. I want 100 million potential customers.
Wow.
You
Makes
know,
that much of a difference, does it?
it
The
makes
reward
it's
members.
well, it's like Chevy and Ford.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you can put all these dealerships in all in a row. It's the same thing with hotels. Um, you have you're a Marriott reward member and you're going to stay at Marriott's, because you want to get enough points to get free nights. It makes that much of a difference, especially when you have hotels in kind of a corporate area where you have business travelers. That is
Hmm.
extremely, you don't want a mom and pop or a lesser franchise for those road warriors. They're racking up points and they're going to eventually take their families to that same franchise somewhere in the world and stay for free.
Hmm.
So you really have to, it's those things that I didn't know, the strategy wise and the back end wise, um, that really, really makes a difference. And then COVID flew,
Yeah.
threw all that out of a lot of that and
But I imagine it's picking up again. It's going
it's
full
fine
force
now.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good now.
Interesting. I didn't know it had that much impact. Thanks for sharing that.
Big.
That's for sure. Um, Very, very cool, Mike. Well, hey, man, if people would like to connect with you and find out more, well, first of all, before we do that, just give us a little taster because you're very excited. We were talking a little bit off camera.
Hmm.
You're working on a new boutique hotel opportunity in Spain. I think you said the building's 1,000 years old. Is that correct? I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have a team in Spain that I've met. One of my partners he did a lot of deals in Europe for BlackRock. So we're very lucky to have him. This opportunity is 40 minutes outside of Barcelona. It sits on its own mountaintop overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. This estate is 1,000 years old. It was built in the 10th century and it's
Was that
11
still when the
rooms.
Moors were in charge of
Man, I don't
Spain?
even know who.
Yeah,
It's like, my God, it's like how much older than the entire United States is it? It's
yeah, yeah.
just my it's crazy, but the current owners is failing in health, but he did a wonderful restoration. He turned it into TripAdvisor top 25 small hotel in all of Spain. We're lucky to get an extremely good deal on this. So we have an open syndication now to invest in it. And one of the great things, two great real things, if you invest in it and you'd like to go to Europe, guess what? Now it's a business expense, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now your European vacation, you can write off
Especially if you stay at the
a
hotel.
lot, well, especially if you stay at the hotel. And then we're giving incentives. If you invest so much, you get free nights, free weeks, stays, and things
Yes.
like that. But we're really excited about this next
Uh,
chapter.
yeah, that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? A completely Uh, yeah, the other ones, the other hotels, I'm sure they're nice, but they're box hotels and they cookie
Yeah.
cutter type thing. This is something with some serious personality.
It's a storybook thing that you only see in movies. It's just
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that's awesome, Mike. So people want to find out more, connect with you. What's the best way for them to do that?
Our website's www.gatewaype, as in private equity, gatewaype.com.
Awesome, Mike. Well, thanks very much for being on the show and all the best with the new hotel.
Thank you, Dave. Take care, everyone.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.